There is an invisible force that follows every human being. It has no face, yet it wears yours. It speaks without words, influences your decisions, shapes your relationships, and quietly determines the direction of your life. Most people spend years trying to conquer the world around them while remaining strangers to the world within. We celebrate our strengths, display our achievements, and build identities that others admire. Yet beneath every carefully crafted image lies another self, one that carries our fears, anger, envy, guilt, pride, and forgotten wounds. The greatest danger facing humanity today is not simply political conflict, economic instability, or technological change. It is the growing distance between people and their own inner reality. The parts of ourselves we refuse to acknowledge never truly disappear. They wait in silence until they begin directing our lives from the shadows. Today, we will explore 3 profound truths. Number 1, the shadow you ignore controls you. Most people believe they are guided by conscious choices. They believe every decision they make is carefully considered, every emotion fully understood, and every reaction justified by the circumstances around them. Yet beneath the surface of awareness lives another force, one that quietly influences thoughts, behaviors, and relationships without asking for permission. This hidden part of the mind is not evil, nor is it an enemy. It is simply everything we have learned to reject about ourselves. The qualities we deny do not disappear. They wait patiently in the background, shaping our lives in ways we rarely recognize. From childhood, we learn which parts of ourselves are acceptable and which are not. We are praised for being polite but discouraged from expressing anger. We are rewarded for confidence, but often taught to hide fear. We learn to smile when we are hurting and to appear strong when we feel broken. Little by little, we build an identity designed to earn acceptance. At the same time, the emotions, desires, and vulnerabilities that do not fit that identity are pushed out of sight. But hidden does not mean gone. Imagine placing old boxes in the darkest corner of an attic. Years pass. Dust gathers. You stop thinking about them altogether. Yet the attic is still part of your home, and those forgotten boxes still occupy space. In much the same way, the parts of ourselves we refuse to examine continue to exist. They influence our choices from behind the scenes, quietly directing our lives while remaining outside our awareness. This is why people are often surprised by their own behavior. Someone who insists they never become angry suddenly explodes over a minor inconvenience. A person who prides themselves on generosity secretly resents the success of a friend. Another who constantly appears calm discovers overwhelming anxiety when life becomes uncertain. These reactions do not come from nowhere. They emerge from emotions that have been ignored for so long that they find their own way to be heard. Modern psychological research supports this idea. Studies on emotional suppression have shown that pushing unwanted emotions out of awareness does not eliminate them. Instead, suppression often increases stress, intensifies emotional responses, and makes genuine emotional regulation more difficult. What we avoid tends to return with greater force, not because it seeks to punish us, but because it has never truly been understood. Consider the story of a successful manager admired for discipline and confidence. To everyone around him, he appears composed under pressure. His team respects his achievements, and his family believes he has everything under control. Yet beneath this polished image lies a deep fear of failure that he has never acknowledged. Rather than admitting this fear, he becomes overly critical of others. Every mistake by an employee feels like a threat to his own worth. Every disagreement becomes a challenge to his authority. What appears to be perfectionism is, in reality, insecurity wearing a different face. His hidden fear quietly shapes every interaction until the people closest to him begin to withdraw, not because they dislike him, but because they no longer feel safe around his constant criticism. This pattern is far more common than most people realize. The person who relentlessly seeks admiration may actually be starving for self-worth. The individual who constantly controls every situation may be terrified of uncertainty. The one who mocks vulnerability may secretly fear being seen for who they truly are. When these hidden motivations remain unconscious, they begin making decisions on our behalf. This is why genuine self-awareness requires courage. It is far easier to believe that our problems exist entirely outside ourselves. It is comforting to blame difficult coworkers, unfair circumstances, or disappointing relationships. Sometimes those external challenges are real and significant, yet even then, our inner responses shape how we experience them. Two people can face the same setback and emerge with completely different perspectives because each brings a different inner world to the experience. The difficult question, then, is not simply, "Who hurt me?" but also, "What part of me continues to carry that wound?" Not, "Why does this situation keep happening?" but, "What pattern within me keeps responding in the same way?" These questions are uncomfortable because they shift attention from the outside world to the inner one. They ask us to become observers of ourselves instead of judges of others. This does not mean condemning yourself for every flaw. In fact, harsh self-judgment only creates another mask. Real growth begins with honest curiosity. Instead of saying, "I should not feel this," we can ask, "Why do I feel this?" Instead of pretending fear does not exist, we can acknowledge it without allowing it to control us. Instead of denying jealousy, anger, or shame, we can examine what these emotions are trying to reveal about unmet needs, unresolved pain, or forgotten experiences. There is remarkable freedom in this kind of honesty. The moment you stop running from yourself, your hidden emotions begin to lose their power. Fear becomes something you can understand, rather than something that secretly directs your choices. Anger becomes information instead of destruction. Insecurity becomes an invitation to grow, rather than a force that drives you to seek constant validation. True strength is not found in appearing flawless. It is found in becoming whole. Wholeness does not mean eliminating every weakness or never making another mistake. It means recognizing that every part of your inner life deserves attention, understanding, and responsibility. The qualities you once tried to hide can become sources of wisdom when they are acknowledged instead of denied. The greatest prison is not built from walls of stone. It is built from the parts of ourselves we refuse to see. And the key has been in our hands all along. The journey begins with a single act of courage, choosing to look inward with honesty rather than away with fear. When you do, the hidden forces that once controlled your life gradually become conscious choices, and what once lived in darkness begins to serve the light. Number 2, the shadow doesn't stay personal, it shapes society. We often imagine that the hidden struggles within us belong only to us. We think our private fears, buried resentments, and unspoken insecurities remain locked away inside our own minds. But the truth is far more unsettling. What we refuse to understand within ourselves rarely stays contained. It reaches beyond the boundaries of the individual and quietly shapes families, workplaces, communities, and even entire societies. Every unresolved emotion has the potential to influence the way we see others, and when millions of people carry the same unconscious patterns, those private struggles can become collective ones. Human beings naturally seek meaning in the world around them. We are constantly interpreting people's intentions, judging their actions, and deciding who belongs and who does not. Yet these judgments are not always based on reality. They are often colored by the parts of ourselves we have never examined. It is surprisingly easy to notice faults in others while remaining blind to those same tendencies within ourselves. The qualities we reject in our own character often become the qualities that disturb us most when we see them reflected in someone else. Think about a time when someone irritated you far more than the situation seemed to justify. Perhaps a coworker appeared overly confident, and their confidence immediately felt like arrogance. Perhaps a friend received praise, and instead of feeling happy for them, you felt an unexpected discomfort. Or maybe a stranger's mistake provoked an anger that lingered long after the moment had passed. These reactions often tell us as much about ourselves as they do about the other person. They invite us to ask a difficult question. What is this experience awakening within me? This is not about blaming yourself for every negative emotion. Emotions are part of being human, and many are completely justified. The important question is whether we understand them or simply allow them to dictate our behavior. When we fail to examine our inner world, our assumptions begin replacing reality. We stop seeing people as they truly are and start seeing them through the lens of our own unresolved fears and expectations. History offers many painful reminders of how dangerous this can become. Throughout different periods and cultures, entire groups of people have been blamed for problems they did not create. Fear has been transformed into suspicion, suspicion into hatred, and hatred into violence. When societies search for simple answers to complex problems, they often create enemies rather than solutions. This process has repeated itself throughout history, leaving deep wounds that continue to affect generations. Psychologists have long studied how fear and uncertainty can strengthen prejudice and division. Research has shown that when people experience insecurity, they may become more likely to divide the world into us and them. This tendency can create powerful feelings of belonging within one group, while increasing distrust toward another. These patterns do not arise because people are born wanting conflict. They often emerge when fear goes unrecognized and is allowed to seek an external target. In today's world, this process can unfold faster than ever before. A single post on social media can spread outrage across millions of screens within hours. Rumors become accepted as facts before evidence has a chance to appear. People who have never met each other begin arguing with absolute certainty about one another's character. Behind the safety of a screen, it becomes remarkably easy to forget that every profile represents another human being with fears, hopes, disappointments, and dreams. The digital world has connected humanity in extraordinary ways, yet it has also revealed how quickly unconscious emotions can spread. Anger attracts attention. Fear travels rapidly. Outrage is often rewarded with visibility. In this environment, reacting becomes easier than reflecting. We are encouraged to answer immediately instead of understanding deeply. But every impulsive judgment strengthens the habit of seeing others as symbols instead of people. The same pattern appears in everyday life, even far from the internet. A misunderstanding between neighbors becomes a lasting grudge because neither person is willing to admit their own mistakes. A disagreement between coworkers grows into hostility because pride prevents honest conversation. Families remain divided for years because everyone waits for someone else to apologize first. Small moments of unexamined emotion can quietly grow into conflicts that shape entire relationships. Yet there is another possibility. Every time a person chooses curiosity instead of instant judgment, something changes. Every time someone pauses before reacting, asks sincere questions, or tries to understand another perspective, the cycle begins to weaken. This does not require abandoning truth or ignoring harmful behavior. Accountability remains essential, but accountability becomes more effective when it is guided by wisdom rather than driven by blind emotion. Real change in society does not begin with grand speeches or sweeping promises alone. It begins in ordinary moments that rarely make headlines. It begins when a parent listens before criticizing, when a friend admits they were wrong, when a leader chooses honesty over popularity, when a stranger responds with patience instead of contempt. These choices may seem small, yet they create ripples that extend far beyond a single conversation. A healthier society is not built by people who believe they have no darkness within them. It is built by individuals who recognize their own capacity for error and choose responsibility over denial. The more honestly we understand ourselves, the less urgently we need to invent enemies. We begin to see that every human being carries unseen burdens, hidden fears, and complicated stories. That awareness does not erase differences, but it makes compassion possible. And compassion, grounded in truth rather than illusion, has the power to interrupt cycles of fear before they become the conflicts that define generations. Number 3. Transformation begins where honesty begins. Real transformation rarely begins with a dramatic breakthrough or a perfect plan. More often, it begins in a quiet moment when a person stops running from the truth. It starts when the excuses become too heavy to carry, when the masks become too exhausting to wear, and when the image presented to the world no longer matches the reality experienced within. In that moment, something remarkable becomes possible. Instead of asking, "How can I appear stronger?" a different question emerges. Who am I when no one is watching? That question has the power to change an entire life. Honesty is often misunderstood. Many people believe it simply means telling the truth to others. Yet the most difficult form of honesty is the one directed inward. It asks us to acknowledge emotions we would rather ignore, motives we would rather deny, and fears we have spent years trying to bury. This kind of honesty is uncomfortable because it challenges the stories we tell ourselves. It asks us to admit that sometimes our anger hides hurt, our pride conceals insecurity, and our constant busyness distracts us from an emptiness we have never fully faced. From an early age, many people learn to build an identity around expectations. They become the responsible one, the successful one, the strong one, or the person who never asks for help. These roles may bring admiration, but they can also become prisons if they leave no room for vulnerability. Eventually, life presents circumstances that those identities cannot control. A career setback, the loss of a loved one, the end of a relationship, or a personal failure can suddenly expose emotions that have been hidden for years. These moments feel painful, yet they also carry an opportunity. They invite us to discover that our worth does not depend on maintaining a perfect image. Imagine someone who spends decades chasing achievement. Every promotion, every award, and every accomplishment brings a brief sense of satisfaction, yet it never lasts. As soon as one goal is reached, another appears. The pursuit never ends, because the real need was never recognition itself. It was the longing to feel enough. Until that deeper truth is acknowledged, no amount of success can fill the space created by self-doubt. The problem was never the ambition. The problem was believing that achievement could replace self-acceptance. Research in psychology consistently shows that self-awareness is associated with healthier relationships, better emotional regulation, and more effective decision-making. People who regularly reflect on their thoughts and emotions are often better equipped to adapt to challenges because they respond with intention rather than reacting automatically. Reflection does not remove life's difficulties, but it changes the way those difficulties are experienced. Instead of being controlled by every emotion, people learn to understand what their emotions are communicating. Consider the story of a woman who carried resentment toward her father for many years. She believed that anger protected her from further pain. Whenever his name was mentioned, she immediately became defensive. She blamed him for every struggle she faced as an adult. Her feelings were understandable, yet they also became a barrier that prevented healing. During a period of honest reflection, she realized something unexpected. Beneath the anger was profound grief for the relationship she had always wished existed. Acknowledging that grief did not excuse what had happened, nor did it erase the past, but it allowed her to stop organizing her entire future around an old wound. She discovered that healing begins not when the past changes, but when we stop pretending it no longer affects us. The same principle applies in everyday relationships. Imagine two close friends who have grown distant after a misunderstanding. Each privately believes the other should apologize first. Weeks become months, and silence replaces connection. Pride quietly convinces both of them that waiting is a sign of strength. Yet genuine courage often looks very different. It may begin with a simple message that says, "Can we talk?" That small act of honesty can accomplish what months of silent resentment never could. Being honest with yourself does not mean becoming trapped in guilt or endlessly criticizing your imperfections. True honesty creates clarity, not shame. It allows you to see both your strengths and your weaknesses without letting either define your entire identity. It reminds you that making mistakes does not make you a failure, just as succeeding does not make you superior. You become more balanced because you no longer depend on illusions about who you are. Many people fear that if they face their deepest flaws, they will discover they are beyond repair. The opposite is usually true. What remains hidden often feels larger and more frightening than it really is. Once brought into awareness, it can be understood, accepted, and gradually transformed. Fear loses much of its power when it is named. Pain becomes easier to carry when it is acknowledged. Even regret can become a teacher when we allow ourselves to learn from it instead of denying it. Transformation is not a single event that happens overnight. It is a series of honest decisions made again and again. It is choosing responsibility over excuses, reflection over avoidance, and growth over comfort. Some days progress will be obvious. Other days it will seem invisible. Yet every moment spent understanding yourself instead of escaping yourself is a step toward greater freedom. The most meaningful changes are often invisible to everyone else. They happen when someone finally admits they need help. When a parent apologizes to a child. When a person forgives themselves for a mistake they have carried for years. When someone decides that living authentically is more important than appearing perfect. These quiet moments rarely attract attention, but they reshape lives from the inside out. The journey toward a fuller life does not begin when everything around you becomes easier. It begins the moment you are willing to meet yourself without disguise. In that act of honesty, you discover that lasting strength is not built by hiding your humanity, but by embracing it with courage, humility, and the willingness to keep growing, one truthful step at a time. The greatest threat to humanity is not the darkness we can see. It is the darkness we refuse to acknowledge. Every person carries both light and shadow. The question is not whether the shadow exists. The question is whether we will have the courage to meet it with honesty instead of fear. The moment we stop running from ourselves, we stop giving our hidden fears the power to shape our lives. When we understand ourselves more deeply, we judge others less quickly. When we accept our imperfections, compassion becomes stronger than pride. And when enough individuals choose awareness over denial, entire communities can begin to change. The journey inward is not an escape from the world. It is one of the greatest contributions we can make to it, because every act of self-understanding becomes one less act of unconscious harm. The shadow will always exist, but it does not have to rule your life. The choice begins today, not with changing the world first, but with having the courage to know yourself.